Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Jaya Radharani Yashodanandana Jayo Vraja Janaranjana Jayo Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Jayo Vraja Janaranjana Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Puja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Puja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Puja Bihari Jai Om Shripad Paramahansa Puriyāgata Jai Ashtotarashata Shri Srimati Abhaya Charananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Itai Gaura Premanandi Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shri Radha Gopinath Malika Vishakha Devi Ki Jai Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Hirayet. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 3, Pure Devotional Service, text 23. Jivanchavo Bhagavatam Rirenum Najatu Martyo Bhilabheta Yastu Shri Vishnu Padya Manujastu Lasya Shvasanchavo Yastu Naveda Gandham Jivanchavo Bhagavatangrirenum Najatu Martyo Bhilabheta Yastu Shri Vishnu Padya Manujastu Lasya Shrasanchavo Yastu Naveda Gandham
Jivanchavo Bhagavatam Grinum Jatumarcho Vilabhita Yastu Vishnu Padya Manujastu Lasya Vasanchavo Yastu Naveda Gandham
Tulasya Shvasancha Voyastu Naveda Gandham Jivanchako Bhagavatangrirenum Najatu Matyo Abhinabhetayastu Shri Vishnu Padya Manujastu Asya Shvasancha Voyastu Naveda Gandham. Please repeat. Jivan. While living. Shava. A dead body. Bhagavata Angrirenum. The dust of the feet of a pure devotee. Na. Never. Jatu. At any time. Martya. Mortal. Abhilabheta. Particularly received. Ya. A person. To. But. Shri. With opulence. Vishnupadya. Of the lotus feet of Vishnu. Manuja. A descendant of Manu, a man. Tulasya. Leaves of the Tulsi tree. Shvasan. While breathing. Shava. Still a dead body. Ya. Who. To. But. Naveda. Never experienced. Gandham. The aroma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. Have you seen a breathing dead body? Yeah, he actually writes that they only scare devotees. He's breathing dead bodies. When a man dies, he is called dead, but when he again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision, and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees, who have no respect for the pure devotees, nor for the Vishnu deity in the temples, create a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offering by such impure ghosts. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. The first condition of devotion or service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the feet of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. This is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. Maharaj Rahugana inquired from the great saint Jada Bharata as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of Paramahamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows. This is Bhagavatam 5:12. O King Rahugana. Well, Sanskrit it's a very famous verse also. Rahugana ita tapasa na yati na chejaya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa naiva jalangri suyai vinamahat padarajo vishekam. O King Rahugana, the perfectional stage of devotional service, or the Paramahamsa stage of life, cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. This is emphasized here in italics, the dust of the feet of great devotees. It is never attained by tapasya, austerity, the very worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penance in the hot sun, within cold water, or before the blazing fire. In other words, Lord Krishna is the property of his pure, unconditional devotees. And as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya, therefore, designated himself as Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayor Dasa Dasa Nadasa, or the most obedient servant of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsels at Vrindavan. A pure devotee therefore never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants. And thus the Lord becomes pleased, and only then can the devotee relish the taste of the tulsi leaves stuck to his lotus feet. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, but he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure portress of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a transcendental feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is, therefore, that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotees than that of the Lord directly. And by one's doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. Jivanchavo bhagavatangrirenum na jatu matyo bhilabheta yastu Shri Vishnu padya manojastu lasya shvasanchavo yastu naveda gandham. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. So, by the request of our esteemed guest Kartik Chandra Prabhu, he wanted that we start the preparation for the upcoming festival, which will be a special festival this year for appearance of Srimati Radharani, Radhadesh, and by his insistence somehow I'm here to speak. And I chosen this verse because Srila Prabhupada so nicely explains how approaching Srimati Radharani in a mode of service and praying for her mercy is the easiest and quickest way to attain the lotus feet of Krishna and become perfect in our human life. So this chapter, third chapter of the second canto, Pure Devotional Service, follows the chapter when Shukdev Goswami answers the main question of Parikshit Maharaj, what is the duty of a man about to die? And then in this chapter he says, oh, I already answered your question. And he gives a list of different possible ways of worship to fulfill different desires. And at the end he concludes that ultimately one should, with great fervor and energy, Tivrena Bhakti Yogina, should worship Lord Krishna. No matter one has desires, has no desires, or is desiring for liberation, one should just worship the Lord, the Supreme Lord. And then it seems like he concludes, and we come back to the story of the sages in Naimisharanya. So Sutta Goswami related that, and then the sages, headed by Shaulaka Rishi, said, could you tell us more? Could you speak more? What else Maharaj Parikshit asked, and what else Shukadeva Goswami spoke and answered, because we are very eager to hear. And then the last section of this chapter, there are these very, very serious statements about the importance of hearing about Krishna and serving Krishna, because if we don't do that, we'll be on the level of animals, basically. This is the verse here about Shvavit, Varahostra, Karai, men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna, the deliverer from the evils. So this verse is almost the last. There are two more verses in this chapter of what we read today. And it's very important because it refers to the essential part or a duty of somebody who is aspiring to attain the Lord, to actually have an abhisheka of the dust of the feet of pure devotee. And therefore Prabhupada also quotes from the 5th canto, Mahatpada Rajo Abhishekam, that one can attain the perfectional stage of devotional service only through that process of sprinkling the dust. And if one does not do it, it's like being a dead body, although breathing. So Prabhupada explains that therefore devotee is more interested in serving another devotee, devotees in general. And he gives the example in the beginning of the purport, which he often mentions about the dog and the owner of the dog. So it's an interesting example. Prabhupada says this is a saying, a common saying, if you want to please somebody, you have to first please the dog, or at least show some appreciation. Oh, you have such a nice dog. Oh, cutie dog. And then the owner of the dog is, oh, I like this person. Another comparison is also with the dog. You want to enter the house of some big man, and then a big dog comes and starts really barking and very angry and fierce, and so you cannot enter. You know, the dog will bite you. But the owner says, "Hush, you know, it's my friend is coming," and then the dog immediately is quiet. So Prabhupada says, so we approach someone who is very dear to Krishna, and Krishna immediately is very soft and very eager to accept that person. So Prabhupada at the end concludes, so who is most dear to Krishna? Who is the greatest devotee? That's Srimati Radharani. And not only that, but she is the feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, which means she is the supreme energy of Krishna, the internal Chit Shakti of Krishna, and as we know from our philosophy, the energy and the energetic, the Shaktiman and Shakti are non-different in one sense. So Radha and Krishna are one, as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami states in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ekatma, they are one soul, okay? One being, but they have eternally separated us two. They have eternally separated us two for the sake of love, exchanging love and spiritual bliss. And then he goes on to say, this is a verse compiled by Swarup Damodar Goswami. But then they become one again and appeared as Lord Chaitanya. So she is a personification of Hladini Shakti, of the pleasure potency. And she is also personification of the compassionate nature of Krishna. So she is the most compassionate, and when Krishna feels that, in that mood of supreme, unlimited compassion, he also takes a special form, and that's the form of Lord Chaitanya, in her mood. So she is the most compassionate, and more important, Prabhupada says here, her mercy is readily available. In other words, she is very eager to give that mercy. She is very eager to share Krishna. She is not possessive, although she possesses Krishna, as Prabhupada said here. Only a devotee of Krishna can give Krishna to someone else. And as Prabhupada says in different places, that Krishna, especially in Goloka Vrindavana, he is the property of the devotees, his dear devotees. Especially the gopis, he says he is like a play toy in the hands of the gopis. It was quite early actually in the beginning of the movement, and Prabhupada encouraged devotees to, in their preaching efforts, to arrange different types of festivals which are attractive. And in Los Angeles, they proposed that they have dramas and different performances for different lilas. And Prabhupada was suggesting, yes, very good. The Sunday feast should be really big event with many preparations as prasadam and kirtan and katha and drama, which will be nice entertainment but also instructive. And a few ideas Prabhupada said. One was of course, the Julan, the lila of Radha and Krishna in a swing, and pastime in a boat, pleasure boat rides in Yamuna. So Prabhupada was giving these ideas, but one of the ideas was, this is in another case, to celebrate Pushpa Abhishek, to do, this is a particular festival in spring, and devotees just but they didn't know how to do it, so it was Dhamavir Maharaj. At that time he was Grihastha and temple president, inquired Prabhupada, how do we do that? And Prabhupada, yes, make it a big public festival, and have a Radha and Krishna, and just make an Abhishek with flowers. Just everybody will throw flowers, and it will be very joyful. And I had actually this experience in last Radhashtami with Vedasara Prabhu. We had it was just at the end of quite a big retreat, which was open actually for an outside people. And about 70, 80 people attendance. And at the end, the last day of the retreat was Radhashtami. So we were wondering, okay, what to do, how to celebrate this. I mean, I was wondering, he wasn't. He was immediately, we have to bathe Radha and Krishna with seawater from the Black Sea. And I was going, wait a second, we don't have a Radha Krishna deities, and why from the seawater? no, we'll purify it and it will be really ecstatic and people will be happy. We have Gorni time. Okay, no problem. Gorni time we'll bathe with seawater. Anyway, we had a Gornita and a barrel leaf of Radha and Krishna. And I suggested instead of bringing the salty sea water, which if it's used on brass ladies, it's not very nice. So I said, let's do Pushpa Abhishek. We'll just make, and we had lots of rose petals. And then the people were extremely ecstatic. They couldn't figure out why is that. We had a good kirtan, but especially during the Abhisheka, and they were making pictures of the deities and really kind of jumping and running here and there and couldn't figure out why they were so blissful. And we spoke after that and we said, this is really, Srimati Radharani is just showing and showering her blessings, showing her mercy to all these people who have no idea basically about bhakti. But that's for them definitely a very strong beginning in devotional service. So Prabhupada was saying, do this, and he explained what is the pastime in the spiritual world. He said one day the gopis decided to decorate Krishna with flowers, so they told him, sit down now, we'll decorate you. And Prabhupada says, because Krishna is a play toy in the hands of the gopis, he immediately agreed, okay, whatever you want, do it. Of course, we know that all the gopis, they are Lakshmis, they are expansions of Srimati Radharani, they are, again, assisting Srimati Radharani in her service. So whatever they do, it's for Krishna's pleasure. There is not a tinge of personal desire for their personal gratification. It's everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And this is the mood. So when we want to take shelter and we pray for that. We pray for being able to take shelter at Srimati Radharani's lotus feet and to follow her. Srila Prabhupada says actually that this is our duty, to become followers of Srimati Radharani in her pure and transcendental selfless mood of service. So how to do it and what will be the result of it? Srila Prabhupada in his purport to Bhagavad Gita verse 9:13, he mentions, he connects the Daivi Prakriti mentioned there, Mahatmanastumam Partha Daivi Prakritim Ashrita, that devotees have taken shelter of the internal energy and therefore they are under the protection of this internal energy. And in many lectures when he quotes this verse, he always mentions Srimati Radharani. That Daivi Prakriti means Srimati Radharani, and devotees take shelter of the internal energy at Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. And as far as I know, Kartik Chandrapu, you can mention, I didn't find a commentary on today's verse on Bhagavatam, neither in the Bhagavad Gita verse of 9:13, from any of the acharyas who connect this to Srimati Radharani. Okay. Yeah, I was meaning more the more ancient acharyas, the traditional acharya commentaries on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. But Prabhupada is very directly, especially in this verse of today in Srimad Bhagavatam. So he is pointing us and he's giving us directly the highest perfection. So sometimes, there are people who say, well, Prabhupada just gave some basics and something more for very neophytes, and we need someone else to tell us something more, something more esoteric or more internal. But Srila Prabhupada gave us everything, and it's here. And not only he just gave the theory, but he told us how to do it in a very practical way, following the footsteps of the six Goswamis, who are embodiment of the desire of Lord Chaitanya. They showed us actually how to please Lord Chaitanya, and in that way enter the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, like Narottama Das Thakur says. If we start serving in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, we enter in the blissful ocean of the Sankirtana in one of the shores, we come out on the other in Goloka Vrindavana. Naturally, will appear, will be part of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So in other words, if we're sincerely engaged, like what Prabhupada told us to do, he didn't tell us to go, when he speaks here, we should approach Srimati Radharani, we should ask her for her mercy, which she will give very easily and very readily. The practical way to do is to engage in service of devotees, in parampara. And we're so fortunate to be connected with this glorious Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is a very specific and unique feature that has the highest goal of going to the highest place of Goloka Vrindavana. And there is a difference. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati actually shocked some people by making the statement that we worship Krishna only because he is dear to Srimati Radharani. And he said the Vaishnavas are worshippers of Vishnu and Krishna, but we are Gaudiyas. We are worshippers of Radha. And we worship Krishna because she loves him and she worships him. So, of course, this is something that we come gradually when we serve those great devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And this mood naturally develops, and we want to take shelter by using our body in the mission. So this is what Rupa Goswami says when he explains in the few verses about Raga Anuga Bhakti, which is the only way through which we can enter Goloka Vrindavana. We cannot go there by Vaidhi Bhakti. We have to develop the spontaneous mood of devotees who are serving Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana by following them. This is the only way. And Rupa Goswami says, so how it is done? Actually, he says that there is no difference, or they are similar. The Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti is all the methods of Vaidhi Bhakti continue to be followed, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. But the mood or the reason or the motivation, what propels you actually, the energy, what pushes you to do it is different. You know, for Vaidhi Bhakti, he says this is the rule of scripture, is the order of scripture. You have to do it. Yes, I have to do it because otherwise I will suffer, or whatever reason. It's the injunction, I have to do it. And the other is a logic, or the conviction that, yes, it's good because of this and this and this. Or it can be out of fear, you do it again. So it's scripture injunction and logical persuasion is then you're convinced, yes, this is the best thing to do. But the Raganuga Sadhana, you do the same activities, actually all of them except a few, which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, which are contrary to the mood of Raja. For example, he says, it's prescribed in the Pancharatrika, doing worship of the deities, you have to meditate on the queens of Vrindavan, you have to do mudras and things like that. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that these should be skipped. So all these technical things should be skipped, but somebody aspiring to go to Goloka Vrindavana, because it's a different mood. But all the other main service remain, but the mood is different. The force which moves you is different, and that is of natural and spontaneous, without a reason. It's just there. Same desire to be serving Krishna in a particular loving mood as some of his very dear associates. And especially now, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we see our acharyas are all, or most of them, are servants of Srimati Radharani. So they come with that mood to bring more souls. And therefore, when the devotees in early days asked Srila Prabhupada, somebody had the idea of, oh, Prabhupada, giving the books, your books to others and preaching, isn't that in the mood of the gopis? Very esoteric. Prabhupada said, yes, this is in the mood of the gopis because they want to bring more. They want to bring others to Krishna. And this is what Srimati Radharani's mood is. She has Krishna. Krishna is under her full control. But she wants to bring all others, push forward all others, even if they want. They want to bring Radha and Krishna together, but Srimati Radharani wants to bring others. Because she genuinely thinks, oh, they are so advanced, they are so dear to Krishna, they will please Krishna so much. And Prabhupada says in other places, when she sees even a small devotion in someone, she says, oh, such a great devotee, Krishna, you have to accept. This devotee is greater than me. And Prabhupada says, this is the mood in the spiritual world. This is the Radharani mood. And here, it's the opposite mood. We see somebody better than us, oh, immediately envy. I don't like. I want to drag that person down. And it's in spiritual world opposite. You see somebody pleasing Krishna, oh, yes. And so this mood is so wonderful. If we have that culture, everybody will want, of course, to be among such loving personalities who are trying to serve others and trying to bring others to Krishna. So Prabhupada said, as the preaching is actually in the mood of this highest service to the Lord. And that preaching, that engagement in the Sankirtan movement is the practical steps of taking shelter of the internal energy. And it's a process of transformation. Like one devotee told Srila Prabhupada, when sometimes I'm in Maya, I sometimes fall into Maya. Prabhupada said, what? No, you are always in Maya, but sometimes you fall into Krishna. Sometimes you remember Krishna. But the goal is that we make the choice constantly that we take shelter at the eternal energy. And that means basically to follow the instructions of Guru, of Srila Prabhupada and his representatives. Practical instructions, and that's how this shelter is taken. This is, of course, one way, and this is how we begin, and gradually when we become more advanced and more attracted, we'll be given, the internal potencies. Actually, that's the meaning of being under the shelter of the either external or internal. So when we are under the shelter, because of Tatastha Shakti, we always have to be sheltered. We have to be sheltered. We cannot be separate. So when we're sheltered at the external material energy, we have the wrong perspective. We have the wrong story. We have the wrong. We're in the wrong place, the wrong space. Therefore, then we suffer. It's inevitably, it's a bad space. It's a dukkha, literally a bad space, right? Which gives pain. And in the internal potency, it's always blissful. It's sukha, and we'll always be happy. And this is a symptom, Prabhupada says, when we are actually in awakening bhakti, we'll be happy. If we are not happy, Prabhupada, this is a symptom of Maya. Of course, there is a type of seeming unhappiness or pain in terms of separation and crying, but that is not suffering. There's no pinching of this suffering like we experience in the material emotions, but spiritual transcendental pain is very blissful. But it's difficult to explain, Sanatana Goswami says. Like the extreme cold, when you touch it, it's like the experience is like it burns. So, that taking shelter either of the external energy or the internal energy is up to us. Actually, this is the only choice we have. And the external energy, because of condition, it's by default we make that choice. So we're moved by the internal energies manifestation, which are the modes. So the modes move her. The more we are conditioned, the more we actually have no choice, or very little choice. The more we're, like for example in Tamoguna, or like animals, they basically are just moved by the modes and instincts. But the humans, they have the choice, but that choice has to be developed and kindled, and one has to strive to get gradually purified through the higher modes, and then come to the Shuddha Sattva, the transcendental mode. But it begins with making a simple choices. Which energy I'm taking shelter? Either the material energy or the spiritual energy. And spiritual energy means always we make a choice to do activities and speech and words and thoughts which are for the pleasure of Krishna. And then immediately we are in that energy. And the more we become purified, the more this will be natural. And at one point, of course, that's a long way, but when we move at the end of the sadhana bhakti, when we come to bhava bhakti, there is no any more material modes which moves us. Although, of course, our body will be moved by the material modes, but not our emotions and our consciousness. And Rupa Goswami explains in the beginning of the Bhava Bhakti chapter that then the internal potency is moving you, your thoughts, feelings, everything, naturally. Which means a very simple thing, you always think of Krishna, feel of Krishna, you always connect everything, whatever you do, because Krishna will be always present in this way, because of the strong feelings of love, because of bhava. So, by taking shelter of Srimati Radharani through that practical process, we will be protected, we'll have the inspiration or intelligence how to do it, we'll make the right choice, we'll have the clear vision, and we need that clarity to make easily the right choices, the spiritual choices, and then we will attain perfection by very fast advancement. And we can take shelter at her feet in general, by taking enthusiastic participation in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, by following the instructions of Parampara, by following the 6 Goswamis, which is very important because they are the dearest servants, and when they tell us what to do, externally, the examples they give, they are engaged in the mission of Mahaprabhu. Internally, they are meditating on their service to Srimati Radharani, and they express that very openly. They completely open their hearts for us to see. And this is the only way we can enter. Srila Prabhupada very often quoted this song of Narottam Das Thakur, Gauranga Buriti Have. So, Rupa Raghunatha Pari Hoibe Akuti. Prabhupada says we cannot understand Radha and Krishna without the mercy of the Goswamis, without, Prabhupada specifically says, reading and understanding the literature of the Goswamis, but especially by following their examples in their lives. And of course, praying, serving Srimati Radharani, praying to her and meditating on her qualities is also a very wonderful way of taking shelter. And for this, we are also so blessed because the Goswamis left so many wonderful prayers. Of course, our main prayer, as Prabhupada many times explained, that Hare Krishna mantra is a direct prayer to Srimati Radharani, because we first address her, Hare, oh my dear energy of Krishna, please, please, I beg you. And Prabhupada in my lecture says, yes, what do you want? And we immediately say, I want service, please. Please give me service. So this is very simple, but very powerful. This is such translation. Prabhupada also said, it means please accept me. Don't reject me. And this we see in the many prayers of the Goswamis. They pray for it. Please accept me. Don't reject me. And please give me even a particle of service. For a little moment, like Rupa Goswami says in this wonderful verse, Krita gaske pi yogi pi janismin kumatava pi. I'm a very unintelligent and crooked person, he says, Janismin kumatava pi. My intelligence is very crooked, and Krita gaske, I'm full of sins and offenses. A yogi, very stupid. I haven't done any devotional service, but please give me Kritagaski Piyogipi Janismin Kumatavipi Dasya Dana, give me the gift of your service, Dasya Dana Pradhanasya, Lavam Apyupapadaya. It's just for a short moment, even if it's a small particle. And then he says, because your heart, in the next verse, your heart is always melting by the rays of your compassion. Navanitasi, he says, Navanitasi. Your heart is soft like a fresh butter. You have to give me your mercy. That's what he says. So, and in another place, again, we see that mercy, that appeal for a mercy that I think Raghunath Goswami is explaining how he's praying actually, how great personalities in this world are very generous, and if somebody approaches for shelter, they won't reject, they won't say no. That's the nature of a magnanimous soul. And then he's praised. So, oh, you're the greatest queen and king rather than Krishna. So you're the most magnanimous. You have to accept me because that's your nature. Don't reject me, please. And also in this famous song of Narottam Das Thakur, which Prabhupada said that was his favorite. You remember which song? Hari Hari Vipale. So at the end, Nateli Horangapai. Please give me shelter, please accept me, because who else? Who else is my shelter? Therefore, please, Nateli Horangapai. Don't kick me away, Prabhupada says. Don't kick me away. Even I don't deserve. I cannot imagine that I can have a direct service, like Prabhupada says in Vyasa Puja offering. I don't expect to have a direct service in millions of lifetimes. Or in another place, we aspire to become a servants of the servants million times away. So, or Gaur Govinda Maharaj. For all the servants, all the devotees of the Lord, there is a list, and I'm at the end. I'm at the bottom. Everyone else is higher. I'm a servant of the servant, of everyone else. So this mood is especially pleasing to Srimati Radharani. And the devotees are very merciful. The 6 Goswamis are very merciful. And their association is very available through the books of Srila Prabhupada and his instructions how we can serve. And of course the songs which he regularly sang, like the one Hari Harai Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Then the second half of the song is about the Goswamis. So the prayer is, I want to be actually a servant of your servants and to take birth again and again. Echai Goshai Chari Echai Goshai Kori Charanavandan Jahoite Vignanash Abhishta Puran. All my desires, spiritual desires, will be fulfilled by taking shelter of the 6 Goswamis. All the obstacles will be removed. That's also what Prabhupada said. All the obstacles are removed just by taking shelter of the Goswamis, especially praying to them, like singing the Shat Goswami Ashtaka. He told Yamuna Devi, if you sing this song, no problems. All obstacles will be removed. The Goswamis will protect you completely. So these are some practical ways that we can approach the shelter of Srimati Radharani and this very quickly advance and then become part of their transcendental family. This is another very often expressed prayer, which we actually sing every morning. In which song? Tulsi Puja, and which is the verse? Ei nivedana dharo sakira anugada koro seva adhikara diye. Koro nijadat. Nija means, nijadas means like own servant, yeah? From your personal entourage. And this is what they pray for. Please recognize me as one of your own. I will finish with this prayer of Rupa Goswami. Devi, what is it? Ha Devi Kalku Bharagad Gada Yadhyavacha Yachaini Patya Bhuvi Dandavat Udbadhartri Asya Prasadam Abudasya Janasya Kritva Gandharviki Nijagane Gagano Videhi. So he's praying, oh Gandharviki, please count me. Ganana means count me as Nijagana, as one of yours. And even, please count me because you're so kind, so merciful. Even I'm so foolish. Asya prasadam abudhasya janas. Abudhasya janas. I'm a very foolish person, and I pray with choked voice. Kritagaskaya yogipi janasmin kumatavapi. Sorry, this was previous. Hadevi kaku bhara gadgadaya. I'm falling down with choked voice. I'm offering this prayer. I'm very foolish, but please take me and count me as one of your own. Thank you very much for your attention. Any reflections? Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned Radharani is the greatest devotee of Krishna. You mentioned Radharani is the greatest devotee of Krishna. It's also said that Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Krishna. How, in this respect, are these two interrelated?
They're both. There's no problem in transcendental vision. Our material vision and material logic specifically, and formal logic there's a rules in formal logic. So it's one, the exclusive third. So you cannot have both, you know. And then when you have the superlative, you say there is only one best, not two. But in spiritual, it doesn't work like that. We have many the bests, but particularly, it depends, of course, here in this case, it's from the viewpoint, and Bhagavatam specifically says that Shambhu is the greatest Vaishnava, in general, or in this world, you could say. But among the all dear associate of Krishna, Srimati Radharani, being, the personification of the internal potency, Hladini Shakti, is the best servant in that sense. So therefore, even Lord Shiva, he had these wonderful prayers, which are very commonly sang in Vraja. What was the Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj? It's the great poem, stava, of getting the merciful glance of Srimati Radharani. So it's sang by Lord Shiva. And he is glorifying Srimati Radharani. Aparasi Anantakuti Vishnuvo Kanambra Pankajarchite Madrija Pulomaja Virinchaja Varaprade. He's talking to Parvati, he's telling her, you, Himadrija, you Parvati, you're getting the blessings, you're getting your power from her, Srimati Radharani. And Apara Siddhiridhidig Satpadangulina Ke. It's just the small toys of the reflection of the small toes of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. You have all perfection and opulences. Apara Siddhi, unlimited Siddhi and Riddhi, and all perfection and opulences. And so he's praising her as the greatest. And always at the end, begging for Kada Karishi Sigama. When you give me your sable glass of mercy, Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam, your merciful glance. So everybody is aspiring of the mercy of Radharani, including Lord Shiva. So there's no problem with that. But Srimati Radharani never says or feels, I'm the greatest. She will say, Lord Shiva is the greatest. Therefore, in Radha Sahasranam, it says, she is a devotee of Shiva. She praises Lord Shiva. She serves Lord Shiva. And then you can get confused, how is this? But this is the subtle understanding of how the Supreme Lord and His expansions and His Supreme Energy and her expansions are interacting. And it's all very wonderful, very nice. And we see Lord Krishna or Lord Ramachandra worship Shiva and Parvati, and they say, yeah, you see the Shaivites, you see, they're Shaivites. They accept Shiva as the Supreme. And then the Shiva and Parvati, they worship Krishna and Vishnu, or Nityananda and Balaram when they go, or Lord Chaitanya, when he was in tour of South India, it mentions that Shiva and Parvati took a form of Brahmana couple, and then they worship and serve Lord Chaitanya and have a very confidential discussion. And then you can get confused, who is the higher. We just want very simple thing, highest, less high, and then, okay, now it's clear. And then the others, no, this is the higher, and then they fight. And then Nityananda, when he went in Vishnu Kanchi, he was amused to see the fight between Vaishnavas and Shaivites, because it's very immature. And the real mature understanding is that you see the proper perspective, like Krishna is a Swayam Bhagavan, and his expansions as Vishnu Tattvas and also Shiva Tattva and his Shakti Tattvas are all interconnected in particular. So, but all of them are serving Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. That's the most important thing we should understand, and we should understand our place in terms of that. Yes, probably.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the uplifting lecture this morning. I would just circle back to the anecdote you mentioned from Bulgaria, I believe, from Black Sea or somewhere else, about the Abhishek. The Abhishek with flowers you did. And you mentioned that Prabhupada sanctioned it somewhere.
It's a letter.
Yes. Would it be possible to reference that? Because I've been trying to research that matter for a while. As devotees are advertising the flower Abhishek as Pushpa Abhishek or Pushya Abhishek. And fortunately, there is a Sanskrit scholar next to me.
He will say the difference.
Yeah. So, in the Agamas, and notably for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there is a Hare Bhakti Vilas, but in broader Agamas as well, there is no such thing as Pushpa Abhishek. There is Pushya Abhishek, which happens on the nakshatra of Pushya, but it falls kind of winterish, I believe. It's January, February, something like that, right? Which means there are no flowers, really. And the Pushya nakshatra has the symbol of the godder of a cow, meaning ghee is supposed to be used for baiting the Lord to replenish, because Pushya means nourishment as well, right? To nourish the body of the Vigraha. Yet there is a conflation of these two terms, and recently I've seen these beautiful festivals with lots of flowers and just trying to understand. So I was researching this whole issue with a few other senior devotees, trying to find. But if you could reference a letter from Prabhupada, it would be really appreciated.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if in the database I've seen it directly. If we type Pushpa Abhishek, I have to check, but probably you check that. But I read it in Dhanavir Goswami's book called My Master. What's the name? He has one book on his memories of Prabhupada. So this is I can look. Well, I don't have the electronic version, but it's there, and he quotes literally the letter. So it must be somewhere also in the database, not just in that book. But he quotes the letter from a certain date about a certain festival, and Prabhupada calls it Pushpa Abhishek. And I know about this controversy about what exactly it means and from where it comes from. But definitely Prabhupada uses that term and encouraged them, because he specifically gave instructions how to do it. Yes, put Krishna, a picture of it, and then you throw flowers. But I can look and give you the exact page or something like that, or reference, and if it's electronically, definitely it will be easier to have the letter from the date and to whom. But it's to Dhanavir Maharaj. Kartik Chandrapur, if you know something more, please say something on that.
So I think my limited understanding is Pushya Nakshatra Abhishek is on that day you don't have to offer flowers. It is very clear. It is Pushya Nakshatra. And in terms of Abhishek, there are 5 kinds of Abhishek in Tantra Shastra. One is Panchagavya Abhishek with 5 elements of cow. Another is just plain water Abhishek. Another is Adarsha Abhishek. So if you are doing Abhishek of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, or a wooden deity form, you just put a mirror in front and just do the Abhishek in front of the mirror. So the Lord, as if, is being Abhisheked. That is also one. And the 4th one is Pushpa. You can do Abhishek with only flowers. And the 5th Abhishek is in your mind, you can do Abhishek. All these 5 are considered as bona fide. Is there a connection between the Pushpa and the Pushya? I don't think so. I have not found that.
Because we're trying to find references for that.
Not the connection between Pushya and Pushpa, but does that make the Pushpa Abhishek unbona fide? No.
Still find references.
Yes. So no, there are, in Tantra Shastra, there is reference of these 5 kinds of Abhishek that anyone can perform. Pushpa Abhishek is what? Patram Pushpam Phalam Thoyam. We are offering this. That is what the Abhishek is. That's my understanding.
Yes, probably. Okay. Was it a comment?
Not a comment. You mentioned that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas especially worship Srimati Radharani, and we're also Rupa Nuvas. They promote the same thing. So, but then I was wondering, I was thinking, am I right when I think that Srila Prabhupada didn't emphasize chanting Radhe, 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 because we're simply not ready for that high level. In India you hear this very often, Radharani, Ki Jai, Radha. So nice to chant, but I think Srila Prabhupada didn't recommend that for us because we're too neophyte. We would become sahajiyas, or we would make offenses or get the wrong interpretation of being that elevated and intimate with Srimati Radharani. Is that right? Or?
Yes, he didn't recommend, because the acharyas didn't recommend. I mean, he mentions here in that purport and in other places, he specifically says, therefore in Vrindavana devotees approach Srimati Radharani by saying Radhe Radhe, but that's it's in Vrindavana and it's a natural expression in any situations, but since no one gave from the acharyas this as a sadhana, that we actually advance we actually please Radharani in this way. So, I mean, it's true, Prabhupada never established this as any practice, as any kirtan that we sing like that. He only in Radhashtami, he sang Rupa Goswami's prayer, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadai. So, and otherwise he was very reserved, but what I tried to say in this lecture was that we actually, the goal is the same. We are Rupanuvas, we know what we want, we are going that place, but the point is, how do we go? By pleasing Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami through what they told us to do. And there is no, what you said, like Radhe Radhe, or in that case, like some kind of a practice to take specific shelter in this way. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was very strict on that. Also, he was very simple kirtan, and there was one of his disciples, and he was very good singer, and one morning he heard him sing Rai Kanu, which are even more intimate names of Radha and Krishna, Wake Up. He was kind of waking up Radha and Krishna. And he said, first you wake up, and then you wake them up. In other words, yeah, while we're conditioned, we shouldn't imagine this, we should stick, but still there's no problem to pray to Radharani in a genuine, with the prayers of Rupa Goswami and hear the poetry like that. But in kirtans, like once I remember in Radha, actually it was in Radhakund with the Vrajamandala Parikram, Jayadvaita Maharaj came and he was just there and he gave a class. And somebody asked a similar question, what about Radhe, and just singing? And he said, Hare Krishna is not enough? Radharani's name is not there? And you can't say that because it's foolish to say, no, she's not there. You have to do something separate. So.
That is just because in India you hear this very often, very common, and it's it is there, like you say, but not specific, rather.
But yeah, there are sometimes, I remember a particular festival in ISKCON temple, a devotee was, and it's just not once and twice, but it after the Hare Krishna started Radhe, 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 and then it went on and on and on. And I got disturbed. This is not a criticism, but again, is that what Srila Prabhupada left for us? Is that also the way to please her? How do we know? Does she want that we sing her name or Krishna's name? It's very simple. Of course she prefers to hear Krishna's name, and we are her servants, so we sing what she likes. And she doesn't like to hear her glories. She likes to hear Krishna.
Thank you. That's nice.
Last.
Oh.
Yes.
But you can wait now.
No, it's a last comment. If you want, you can comment, of course, but I'm saying we're over time. Tomorrow we can continue on the topic.
Thank you, Mahendra Prabhu, for a nice class. So what I was thinking about in this discussion is, yeah, Prabhupada said we don't have to, better not put Radha in the front, she's already there in the name. And then I had to, it just pumped into my mind is, and by we are in Gaura Leela, we are worshipping Lord Chaitanya. So what's more important than Radharani's name is important, but what she represents is the mood of compassion. And in this age of Kali, we worship Gaura, who is Radha and Krishna united. And for me that makes so much sense that although we don't worship Radha, but it's the mood we are meditating on, her mood, the mood of compassion.
We do worship her every day.
Yes, but you understand. No, yes, but what I mean is we're constantly meditating on her mood because Lord Chaitanya represents Radharani's mood of compassion, and I liked it.
Thank you very much. Kartik Sharma, any last comment? You continue tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Shiva Prabhupada ki jai.